Unfortunately, we are in a pandemic, but it's still a very, very sad day for these families. These 6 people who have lost their lives are aged between their 70s and their 90s, and the Chief Health Officer will give a little bit more detail. But when you think about during the whole 2 years of the pandemic, we lost 7 people. To lose 6 in one day is a big shock, and our thoughts are with the people at the moment. It's quite upsetting. Can I also mention that we have 556 people in hospital, 26 are in ICU, 10 are ventilated. The Chief Health Officer will talk a little bit more about that. We have 91.33% of people have had at least one dose, and 88.18% of people are fully vaccinated, and I'll come back to that in a moment. In good news, 795,000 people have had their boosters, so that's wonderful to see people coming out and getting that. And like I said, it is very important for people to get their boosters. That is that added layer of protection. And if I can also reiterate what I said earlier, that if you are a senior at the moment in our community, whilst we are going through this wave, and I've said this publicly, please think about limiting your movements during this particular point in time. We've also activated the Care Army, so if you are at home and you can't access certain services, the Care Army is there through the Community Recovery Hotline, and that is 1800 173 349. And our Care Army has done a mighty job over the last 2 years, and they've been stood up again. So I thank those men and women who are giving up their time to help the most vulnerable in our community. Good news, our 5 to 11-year-olds are getting vaccinated, and it's wonderful to see. In fact, speaking to young people across the Brisbane region, everyone's excited to come and tell me that they've either had their vaccine or they're booked in to get their vaccine. So that's wonderful to see that's happening as well. And of course, we've got National Cabinet starting very shortly as well, where I'm quite sure that we'll have a lot to discuss there. I want to talk to you briefly today about the 90%. So we're due to hit 90% around the end of next week. However, today I've had a conversation with the Chief Health Officer, who has advised me this morning that the situation across the East Coast in terms of Omicron cases now gives rise to some measures that I'm about to announce today. I've also spoken at length with the Police Commissioner. The Police Commissioner also advises me that some operational requirements are needed for police. So let me start by thanking all of our men and women of the police service, our emergency services, and anyone else who has worked on our borders. They have done a mighty job. During the 2 years of the pandemic, they have, and I think the Police Commissioner will give you the details, they have stopped so many vehicles, intercepted so many flights. Their job has absolutely kept Queenslanders safe. But now is the time for the barricades to come down and for the police to come home, and the police to continue about their normal operational duties on the front line as they are needed throughout the state as we face this Omicron wave. So from 1 a.m. Saturday, the borders will be coming down. So that means anyone coming domestically across into Queensland, either by road or by air, they do not have to show that they've had their border pass. They don't have to show that they have state that they've had a RAT test, a rapid antigen test. But this is the time, and the time is now right as we head towards hitting that 90% next week. In terms of international travel, we will wait until that is formally declared on the 90%, but we need to take this step today, and I think every Queenslander wants to thank the men and women, especially our police service, that have done a great job, and the Police Commissioner will comment a little bit more about that. So with that, I'll hand over to the Chief Health Officer and then the Health Minister and the Police Commissioner.